viewers of the Bro Fist to you all, because it's the last drama time before I piss off. I'm leaving, I'm abandoning ship. We're going to be going away for 2 weeks, but not that you will be short of content. I've been working my ass off to the point where I'm not allowed to have bags under my eyes tomorrow, because I'm at a wedding tomorrow, for Christ's sake. And my wife's moaning at me because I'll look like I'm sleepy. Leave me alone! I can look sleepy if I want. For you guys, I can do that. So there should be plenty of videos coming out. As you're probably aware, though, although this is the last Drama Friday, so this one will release just before I get back. Which is going to be... This message kind of goes on deaf ears. So I kind of entrust you guys who will hear live and those guys who are watching the VOD on Twitch, so I'm not going to take that down, is to... remind people that I'm away. Like, they released a new Legion Alpha build last night, bro. Like, last night they updated the Legion Alpha with loads of class changes, which invalidated, like, 4 of my videos. I was like, motherfucker. I'm almost guaranteed that something will change while I'm away, and that a video will release after that change. I mean, I could try and work it on my phone if it's something really bad. And people will be like, yeah, this is totally incorrect. That might happen. I really trust you guys to be like, he's not here. There's nothing you can do about it. But I've worked really hard to try and make sure that won't happen by doing some sort of generic-y type stuff, like opinion stuff, because we found out that legendaries won't take place, won't be switched on in Mythic for a while. How long that will be, we don't know, but they won't be on for a while, which is great news. Enjoy, man. Go have fun if you want to farm legendaries, although I already saw complaints because they have a higher drop chance. What is it they said? They have a higher drop chance in more difficult content. Does that mean that, like, if you're a really endgame raider, are you going to like, passively start collecting legendaries? What's the drop chance? We don't know. But we're not going to be farming boars for them. That's for fucking sure. Challenge modes are the likely one, right? Challenge modes are definitely the likely one that's going to have all these legendaries and stuff. And you're probably going to get a good chance in the challenge mode loot bag or whatever the fuck to get your legendary in there. I honestly thought, before this announcement, they were going to make them, like, a garrison mission. The garrison's been updated. I don't know if you... Not the garrison. I'm going to call it the fucking garrison. It's the garrison, right? The class hall thing. It's been updated. It's got, like, its own little bar now full of, like, your troops doing stuff. You have class hall resources. Remind you of anything, guys? Class hall resources are now in the game in Legion. So, yeah. It's nothing like the garrison, though. It's nothing like the garrison. But yeah, there's totally like class hall resources and shit now. And you have like a bar that tracks all this stuff and what your followers are doing. So, yeah. We'll see. I thought they were just going to tie it to that and then eventually you'll get it. Yeah, really. Yeah, but really. Yeah, there are. You get resources now for doing class stuff. Now, that's not to say it's bad. I could go into a whole World of Warcraft video now, but I've already kind of recorded this stuff for you guys to come out. But I actually think there's much excitement about what could be done with the class halls if they decide to go down that route, which I really hope they do, and not in the form of the garrison campaign. Go here. A little bit of a cool story, maybe a cool cutscene. Fill the bar! You dick. Fill the bar. Fill. You see that bar? It's 0 over 100. Fill it. Garrison campaign. 2015 game design, bros. Boom. Boom. So I hope they expand on that in a really cool way. They could do that. There's lots of clues, I would say. Lots of clues in the class halls that there's room for improvement there. How the class hall resources will play into that, I don't know. I don't know. I was also surprised that some of you... Because I've been a little bit late with getting some of the videos out because we had stream week, that watched my BM video and then told me that they'd watched other BM videos who had a completely different take on it. Who were super excited about the way BM plays. And then watched my video and went, oh no, oh, okay. Oh, shit. Shit, okay. Which is cool. And also Nobble's in the chat. And can we all give a big clap to Nobble, who only died once on the priest quest. The holy priest, which is overtuned. It's overtuned. It's overtuned. Big clap to that man. Although he had stream help. Motherfucker, the stream told you what to do. You had no idea. And I was desperate to watch you fail that quest over and over again and see if you cut it so I could check the clock to see if you came back like an hour later. I was like, okay, I've done it now. I've done it now. I was fucking dying to see that happen. Dying to see that happen. I was like, where's that clock? Goes in, all confident like, gets smashed in the face, and then he's like, oh, press Holy Nova. Someone in the stream told him. Motherfuckers. Should have left him to it. Should have left him to it. I wanted to see it. So, well, You got it done though. That's all good. It's very overtuned. To be fair, it's really overtuned. Which is, I said in my video, I was like, "What the fuck is this? This isn't an artifact quest. Should watch my streams back live." Oh yeah, I did go back. Oh, I don't want to do that, Noble. No, I don't want to. I was prepared to see it late at night. I was tired. I was tired. I was converting files. I was like, okay, I can watch this now. But it wasn't everything I hoped for because you succeeded, which I was like. This thing is pretty hard. This last bit is really hard. Apparently, the average deaths on there is like 2. From what I'm being told, I did it first time, but I should, right? I should be able to do that first time. But then I got told like the average death counter on that is 2, like people dying twice, which is it's going to be changed. Let's not worry about that. That's not why you're here right now, is it? That's not why you're here right now. You wonderful people who are going to see me off as I'm away for 2 weeks. So there'll be no streams for the next couple of weeks, right? There's a schedule on my Twitch. There's no streams until I get back. Then we're straight into making the legacy video. I'm going to finish the writing while I'm away, and we're straight into filming it. We've got to sort of castle out. So thank you to everyone on Patreon who's making that happen so we can do this stuff. You saw the Legacy of the Wallet. You saw the difference it's made. It's pretty awesome, right? So we're going to be doing that pretty much when I get back, but we'll be back to business as usual in 2 weeks after today. All right, guys. So if you're watching on YouTube, in like 2 days, because this is the last drama time before I go away. Let us begin our journey together, ladies and gentlemen. We're going back in time. Not like Warlords of Draenor. I want to make that clear. We're staying in the same dimension, right? That means that all the lack of lore makes sense. Yeah? Good? Okay, good. We're going back in time in the real world where our actions count. So I'm told. Did you know that the reason we went back in time and dimension, reality, whatever, in Warlords of Draenor was to protect the current timeline? Do you know how much activity there was in the real world to make you aware of that fact? 0. That's right. How cool is that? Well played. Warlords of Draenor. Right, GM1 shall be Basco. Love that name. Basco. GM2 will be... Oh, God, how do I say that name? Is that Russian? Komoxin. That sounds like a drug, dude. It's not even the X-Files. Trolled. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there's an imminent and dangerous threat to the current timeline, is there? Where? Where is it? Crown Royal. Okay, the last 2 are 100 in a row, but I'm going to have to pick their names. So it'll be Buckley. And last but not least will be McCaskill. I can't put in your class. Sorry, bros. Oh, look at that motherfucker. I hope Ghost's not here. There we go. That'll do. Excellente. We're going back in time, beautiful people. We're going back in time. There's 4 guilds involved here, and one of them's a PvP guild. I'm pre-warning you. It's a PvP guild in this. Oh, I'm pretty sure this is a story about how I sold a character, repossessed it, screwed over 5 IRL friends, and the best raiding guild on my server. All in the name of personal gain, with 0 fucks given. What class is he? What class is he? After you hear that tale, what class are we talking about? So, chapter 1 then. The Rogue Inception. I began my World of Warcraft journey with a group of 7 real-life friends who all worked together. One of our friends, who is Crown Royal, was pretty well off as a government contractor. Ooh. One day he walked into the office with 6 copies of WoW and threw us all one. He'd been playing since launch a couple of weeks earlier and wanted us to try the game. I played Warcraft 1, 2, and 3 and was pretty excited to try World of Warcraft. We all discussed what classes we would play and went home to install the game. I'm having flashbacks that I have read this story before. I know I read it earlier. Does this sound familiar to anyone else? Have you resent this? Whoa. Anybody? Ah, Cruzio nailed it. Yeah, totally is. Okay, fuck that story. Yeah, I've heard that before as well. That was really weird. I didn't notice when I was recording, when I was rereading it earlier on, but totally have. Okay, let's just move on. That means we're going to have to pick a random story for the end of the show, guys. That could end really badly. Oh, cool. That means I can put some different names in. Awesome. That's all good. All good. New story. Scratch it. Don't resend your story if I've already read it. I bet well, saying that, I bet you didn't know. So that's okay. You probably missed it when I actually did it. That's all right. I read so many of these stories. It can happen. It can happen. As you can probably imagine. So, we can contain the rage for now. Rogue. Do. GM. We put it as it's written. Okay, I'll remember McCaskill. Right, there we go. I had one job. Oh, come on, I read hundreds of these things. I just want to be a DPS. I did lie about going back in time. I started playing WoW. Let's get straight into it. I started playing WoW in February 2006. I was 15 and was no stranger to online gaming. I had played Counter-Strike, Guild Wars, EverQuest, and RuneScape before finally settling for World of Warcraft. I'd always enjoyed playing characters that could hit things with big, meaty 2 H's, mate, like Arthas from Warcraft. So I made myself a dwarf paladin. Because it had a big hammer. But after trying to enjoy the class, I got bored on the poor paladin. It took me forever to kill anything. I stopped playing the shit game that ruined my expectations and let my real life friend level a rogue on my account until he got his own. He managed to get to level 40 or something. Before this happened, he had no life. He had no life. Level 40. What a fucking nerd, man. What a fucking nerd. And then he convinced me to play again. I said I would, but I could not play a Holy Paladin. I could not even touch it again. He told me that I should become a warrior. Because they hit things really, really hard. Yeah. Reluctantly, I agreed. I wasn't sure how hard he meant by really hard. But I would give it a go. And we both started playing again. This didn't last long. In fact, by the time I hit level 15, he had reached Stranglethorn Vale. To give you an idea of how much of a fucking loser this guy was, right? This guy's such a loser playing World of Warcraft and enjoying himself. I logged off one evening as he was level 30 or something, right? The next morning, bros, he was level 40. Fucking nerd, mate. Fucking nerd. Cunt. Yeah? What you leveling so fast for, you fucking loser? Stop enjoying your game, mate. And he started to follow me riding around on his mount and PMing me about how cool it was to have a mount and how shit it was to not have a mount like me. Have you got a mount, mate? No, mate, because you're level 15 or whatever. Fucking sucks, doesn't it, mate? Fucking sucks. I remember when I was like you, mountless. Remember, back in the day when I was mountless. Shit days, mate. Shit days. Anyway, being a warrior, all I wanted to do was go around and smash. I had no idea that we had other responsibilities. I didn't find out until my first ever run of the Dead Mines, where I accepted the role of being tank without knowing what it was. Warrior, hold aggro for fuck's sake! The PMs raged in my screen as people were dying left and right. Mobs were running haywire, and I was pounding the shit out of a miner with my green axe, though. So I thought I was doing my job proper. Yeah? That miner, though, is fucked, mate. Fucked! You guys are all noobs. We wiped. And I was kicked, feeling really confused because I killed my miner. My mob died. I don't know what the fucking problem is. Why do you guys all die? Shortly afterwards, though, I received a PM from a mage who was in the group, and he explained to me about tanking. That was our job, he said. This is what warriors do. He told me that on a different server, he had a level 60 warrior. Liar! You fucking liar. On a different account, mate. Yeah, I haven't got it at the moment, no, because my girlfriend's using it, like. So I can't show you, but I know what I'm talking about. Got a warrior. Yeah. And what I do is I hang about in dead mines, telling people about my level 60 warrior, mate. Can't show you, though. No, mate. It's like the money's run out on it and that, you know what I mean? So I can't. But I've definitely got one. Ask me something else. What? Yeah, I got one of them. It's on the same account as my warrior, though, mate. Can't be showing you nothing. Let me educate you a little bit, though. I've run into that so many times in them low-level dungeons. You guys have all been there with somebody who's, like, judging your talent points at level 15 or level 30 or something. He's like, why are you taking that, though, mate? I've got a fucking level 100, fully mythic, 13 out of 14. Nearly killed the last boss. Yeah, there's 14 bosses in Hellfire Citadel. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not stupid. You guys have all bumped into that. I know you have. He took me to Stormwind and he showed me a quest that I had missed. It was a quest to get defensive stance. To his surprise, I smugly told him, already done that quest. I just didn't know what it was. Did that quest. Don't know what it means, though. No idea what it means, though. Yeah, I've done it. Don't know what it means, though. I just had no idea how to use it. Or why anyone would want to take a stance that make them do less damage and make mobs hate them more. Don't even make sense. Fucking game's broken, man. Why would I do that? No. I'll die if everything attacks me. And you do less damage. I don't understand. Don't understand this at all. Fucking crazy. He told me the most important thing, the only thing that a warrior should do in a dungeon, was to keep the priest alive. And make sure that he had 3 stacks of Sunder armor on every target. Yeah, defensive stand's fucking useless, mate. But it doesn't do damage, I said. Practicing how to use Sunder armor. What are you talking about, bro? Sunder armor doesn't do nothing. You're not even making fucking sense. It generates threat, the mage said, as he proceeded to assault the mob with a fireball. To my surprise, when the fireball landed, it didn't go and try and kill him. But I wasn't doing any damage. He told me to hold aggro. You have to generate threat. Aggro. I had heard this word before. I thought it was an NPC. All those priests I grouped with seemed to scream it every time, so I thought it was a boss. It made sense now. It all fell together. My job was to keep my allies safe, to protect them from harm. You might not like it, said the mage, but this is what a warrior is all about. It took a long time, but I finally managed to learn how to tank. Through the 30s and 40s, I was running dungeons endlessly, always eager to move on to the next one. Scarlet Monastery fell at my feet. Razorfen Downs I got lost in for 4 days because that place fucking sucks. I fucking hate it every time it pops up and I'll never go there again. Ulderman, what a cool place. And Zul'Farrak. They seem to be endless. I always tried to go DPS at first, even after being asked to tank. But inevitably, people always said, you came as a tank, so you should tank. It got to a point where I stopped rolling for two-handers and looked at other warriors and paladins and even hunters who would take my loot because they said I was a tank. I don't need two-handers. Funny that they always seem to roll against me. Sometimes even for shields. Anyway. I tanked in arm spec because fuck 'em. Always trying to keep a 2H for questing because the damage I did with my one-hander was dog shit. I didn't go full protection though until I hit the beef level 55 when I was invited to tank Blackrock Depths by my friend. He was a Blackwing Lair Raider. Who's the friend? I think it's Camoxen. He insisted that in order to complete Blackrock Depths, you must be protection spec. Otherwise, Blackrock Depths will fuck you up. But my damage, I cried. My damage will be shit. I had just bought a mount. I had no professions, no gold left. I had been spending it all on repairs and trying to buy a two-handed weapon from the auction house. I couldn't just respec. But after that, I could just about afford to respec. But after that, I couldn't afford to go back to arms. I would be trapped as protection. My friend didn't give a shit. He just said that I need to hurry the fuck up or they'll just get another tank. Reluctantly, I respec to prot. We started the group. We managed to clear to the bit where you see the entrance to the molten core. Thanks guys, bye-bye, said the healer. A fresh level 60 priest. Then everybody left. Without saying a word. I was just stood in Blackrock Depths. All on my own. We hadn't killed hardly any bosses. Well, this was fun. When I PM'd my friend afterwards, he explained that it was a run for the achievement to MC. And he should have picked up the crystal and the quest. What quest? I said. And then he called me a noob. And that if I hit level 60, I could maybe join the raid. Raids were big dungeons apparently with 40 heads. I was very excited and wanted in. Surely with 40 meatheads in the raid, I could go DPS, mate. I'd seen other warriors walking around Stormwind with big fucking hammers and axes. And I wanted to be like them. Can I raid with you? I asked. No, lol, he replied. I had been in a number of guilds since I started playing. Never for very long. Names like the Champions of Silvermoon, the Guards of Stormwind, the Celtic Leaf Army. My friend explained that his guild was hardcore, mate, and only invited pro players though. So I set out to find a guild on my own. I asked in LFG and trade, but nobody gave a shit about a level 55 warrior who wanted to raid. A few scrub guilds did try who needed tanks, but I set my sights on joining one of the good guilds. I knew that wasn't the place for me. I capped my character, tanked my way through BRD, LBRS, and Stratholme to get some Valor gear, to try and find a guild that wanted an arms warrior for the Molten Core. But everyone told me to go and fuck myself. You should tank me. Except for one day. I was tanking a Sholomance run to get the epic mount for a paladin I met in trade. He was impressed with me, gave me the eye, and said that his guild could use a warrior for raiding. But can I DPS? No. No, you can't. At this point, I gave up. I'd lost it. It wasn't going to happen. I accepted his offer. And within a few weeks, I was a part of a team that was raiding Molten Core, Zul'Gurub, and AQ20. Here I was, thinking I was going to come out looking like the warriors you see wandering around Stormwind with Sulfuris. But to my dismay, nothing cool I wanted ever dropped. And when it did, I was on the lowest priority of 8 tanks. All the other warriors took it off me. I got the scraps of tanking plate. I look like a fucking clown. I never got a two-hander from a raid. Not even Thunderstrike. Aww. That's really sad. You didn't even get Vendor Strike, bro? Really? Like, how do you not get a Vendor Strike even for lols? While I was raiding, I had to grind out AV for an unstoppable force. The guild was full of what I now consider to be scrubs. Time wasters. We never even downed Ragnaros before the Burning Crusade pre-patch came. It's not funny. Many people left the game, even with high warlord weapons. What the fuck, dude? What is your guild? You know you got high warlord weapons though, right? Like, I don't even know how it's possible not to kill Ragnaros. I don't get it. You never mentioned Onyxia. Could you not do Onyxia? Like, I don't understand. Like, they should die, right? If you've got, like, high warlords, cleavers on a warrior, everything just dies. It just falls over and died in vanilla. That's what happened. Anyway, many people left... Oh, he said Burning Crusade pre-patch. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. Oh, no fear ward, mate. Yeah, no fear ward, though, bro. Many people left the game because they couldn't face another 10 levels of grinding. 10 levels? Nope. Nope. I did 60 levels. I'm not doing another 10. I don't care if it's a new expansion. I don't care about it's a whole new world. I don't give a shit about your Burning Crusade. I'm not doing 10 more levels, Blizzard. Kiss my ass, man. And I was once again guildless. Once again guildless. I'm not getting 10 levels, bro. No way, man. Christmas came and went. Santa dropped his shit on my doorstep, and while my real-life friend was showing off his Nax gear in Stormwind, I was sulking in Battlegrounds. To top it off, I was shit at PvP. I was absolute shit at PvP. I just died all the time. And on the very few occasions where I was able to DPS in a dungeon, I found myself not enjoying myself. And I could totally sympathize with this. Every time I got to DPS on my warrior, I just kept getting shit tanks. And all I could think about was, why is this tank doing that? Why is this tank doing this? Why is this tank not doing things properly? I once ran with a shitty prop paladin who tried his hand at tanking LBRS. I wasn't impressed. I ended up going back to Ironforge to get my tank gear so we could finish the run. Yeah. Where's my tank, brothers? Where's my tank, brothers? You can't. If you're in the tank mindset, you just can't DPS. Because the other tanks fucking suck. And it fucking sucks bollocks. It's the worst feeling ever. I think it was around that time then where I miserably came to realise that I would probably be tanking for the rest of my WoW life. This was my destiny. This is what I was to be. TBC came. I was ungilded. And started the slow process of leveling a protection warrior to 70. You still can't afford a respec though, bro? Dude. Within 2 weeks of launch, my loser friend had capped 2 weeks to level 70. Nerd. Nerd. 2 weeks. My loser friend had capped his rogue. Yeah, the rogue is Kamuxin. Kamuxin had capped his rogue. And was starting to do Karazhan. Mega nerd. What a loser. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's like Zoom, baby. Zoom. I slowly leveled through the Burning Crusade, doing dungeons on my warrior. I was around 65 or so that I started to actually enjoy tanking. I particularly liked the way some of the gear for these two dungeons looked. Blizzard was dragging me in to the transmog world. I capped my character about 5 weeks into the expansion. Loser! Fucking loser, mate. 5 weeks, nerd. Fucking nerd. I found myself a guild that needed a tank. It was quite easy as a protection warrior. I found once I stopped asking to DPS, guilds were more able to bring me along. Yeah. I was able to stroll into a new guild and take up position as the main tank of Group 2. Fuck off, bro. Oh, come on, man. Oh, I easily got to be the main tank of Group 2. Yeah! Nailed it. Jesus Christ. T2 is so easy to get into. Come on, man. Fucking hell. Oh, God, this is making me cry. This is making me cry. Okay. Team 2 Karazhan. That's alright. That means he's probably going to join together. Right, we can have hope, right? We can have hope. Team 2 Karazhan ain't so bad as long as he synergizes into being one of the main tanks of like the final Team 1. Yeah? That could work. That could work. We might have hope yet. Keep the faith alive, team. I tanked through Karazhan with this guild and landed my first Prince kill with the guild's raid. A mere 3 months into the Burning Crusade, we managed to kill Prince Malchezaar. How many resets is that? 12? 12 resets? Dude. Yeah, 3 months. 3 months time. I'm not sure when he joined the guild. Keep the faith alive! Keep the faith alive. We did Gruul and Magtheridon a few times, so that's good. With 3 or 4 tanks. Oh god, you geared 4 tanks? Is that what I'm reading here? It is what I'm reading. We did Gruul. Oh, I bet you had like 4 Gruul shields. Fuck me. Fuck that. We did Gruul and Magtheridon a few times with 3 or 4 rotating tanks and managed to get enough people. And we're ready to start Serpent Shrine Cavern. Memories of the trash nightmare. This is when it all fell apart, team. Now it's going to get really sad, though. Now it's going to get really sad. This is going to get really sad. I should inform you now that this guild had previously been a decent raiding guild that had killed Nefarian before the Burning Crusade. It consisted mainly of European Swee gamers who were in their 20s. They had cut their team from 40 to 25 or so in preparation of TBC raids. But they, in their haste, had lost a couple of decent tanks, which is why I had found a spot. The lack of tanks had helped us progress, helped the progress of many of their raid members, who were given the rank of Group 2 reserves. Oh my god. Official guild rank, bros! Group 2 reserve. Wow. Don't do that. If you're watching this and your rank is Guild Group 2 Reserve, just leave, man. Get the fuck out. I'm not joking. Seriously. I always encourage you guys to have a really good experience. That is not a group experience. It's not good. Please. Please. Let me come out of character for 1 minute. Don't do that. Please, for the love of God, don't be part of something that is Team 2 Reserves. You're getting fucked. Literally, you're being bent over. Back into character then. Group 2 reserves, mate! And had prevented them from being geared enough to do SSC because they were Group 2 reserves. Yeah? We entered the Serpent Shrine Cavern. Lady Vash shouted at us. I was told by an officer that 2 tanks from Karazhan Group 1 would be enough. And as such, I was no longer needed. Is that not the saddest thing ever? And you all saw it coming. You knew it. There had to be 2 tanks in that Karazhan Group 1. There had to be. There had to be. In a guild like this? Of course. Of course it had to be that way. You know what I did when I ran my Karazhan guild? Main tank was in Team 1 with somebody else who was able to tank. And guess what? The other main tank was in 2 with somebody else who was able to tank. Well, there you go. The other guy I had tanked with in Karazhan was a feral druid. And he had already been offered to switch to DPS for SSC. Something he never told me. I bet you whispered him! Bro, they don't need us to tank. I know. What do you mean you know? Strolls in as a cat? What are you talking about, bro? That's totally what happened. Dude, can you fucking believe this shit? They're not going to let us tank. I know. I was never going to tank. I'm a cat. I'm a cat druid. So, I don't know. There you go. Because I thought I was going to be a tank, I passed all the DPS plate to warriors. Oh, no, not even... Was it called Despair? What was that cool-ass sword from Karazhan? So good, that sword. I loved that thing. I had that when I was tanking. So good. It's like black and purple. You know the one. It's fucking cool. Thinking that, of course, that I was supposed to tank. But I'm not geared enough to be a DPS, I shouted. I didn't have a fucking clue how to DPS. I've been prot since the start. Despite my pleas that I could learn, they just kicked me from the raid. And said, see you later. I was subsequently dropped completely. I rage quit the guild and the game. When after all this, they whispered me saying, why aren't I tanking Karazhan for them? We still need you for Karazhan though, bro. It's not all bad. Maybe we can rotate you in sometimes, yeah? See how you get on. But we really need you to tank Karazhan for us, yeah? Yeah? No, you can't come to the main raid. No, you can't take DPS loots. You could just tank Karazhan for us, yeah? You're part of the raid, part of the guild. A few weeks later, I came back with a new plan, though. Some perspective. I was a level 70 protection warrior, geared to fucking Karazhan epics. I'd be damned if I couldn't find a guild that needed me. So I joined a social raiding guild. What are you doing to me, man? What are you doing? To give you an idea, this guild has its guild name in all caps. And was led by a mage called Buckley. Who was the acting GM in the absence of their old GM, Crown Royal. They called themselves a raid guild, especially when I applied. But when I joined and asked them the schedule, they said they were hoping to start Karazhan soon. They had a few members who were anxious to start raiding. So I walks in my purple bling, willing to help them get through Karazhan. After a few weeks of heavy preparation for Karazhan, we created our raid team and we were ready to start raiding as a guild. Because of my clear experience, I was appointed to the title of raid leader. We shall now begin Karazhan. Having been used to running with people who took their raiding seriously and could kill the curator, novel, within a few minutes, left on his enraged timer, I was really shocked by this guild's casual attitude to things like being on TeamSpeak and using consumables. One guy told me flasks are for nerds. And after the 4th week, wiping on the enraged timer to the curator, I felt like maybe we weren't getting anywhere. This was actually a huge step backwards for me. I would have been better off gearing myself for DPS on off raids, and I could have been doing SSC and TK by now. What made matters worse was rotation. Because the guild's primary focus was being social, everyone gets a try. Everyone gets a try. Yeah, you did well this week, but everyone gets a try. We had lots of DPS in our social guild who wanted to raid. But only a few people who would do things like get the Karazhan key. Despite progress, we had to take people who would carry the raid out of the raid to rotate in new players for the sake of fairness and equality. 1 week, it took some members so long to get to Karazhan, and we had to open the door for them. We didn't start until 45 minutes after raid start. So Buckley, the GM, was included. It made it very difficult, because rather than streamlined progression and learning, we had to constantly re-explain tactics every time, even for things like attunement. Every newcomer needed explaining their role for every boss. It would take 10 to 15 minutes each week before every boss, and then repeats when we would wipe. This just made me so sad. But like the tank I was, I soldiered on! mitigating it, pushing this guild relentlessly through Karazhan, and building DPS gear in the process. I started shouting at people, telling them they were dog shit so they wouldn't come back the next week, telling them out basic mechanics. Response to my approach was divided. Some people listened and respected and got better, even agreed with it. Others thought I was a jerkfish. I insisted that there was only one way we were going to be able to get past this behaviour, and that was doing it this way. Was I asking too much of people? To be there on the raid on time? To actually show up to the raid when they said they'd be there? To use a flask? Was I asking too much of a casual guild? Was I asking too much? The eternal question, friends. Is that too much for a casual guild? I got more aggressive. People got more focused. As if to try and avoid my wrath. Our car run started to become fruitful. I recruited more people to join our raids as people slowly flooded away once I shouted at them. I weeded out the socials and the scrubs from our raids who had previously made up the core of the guild, replaced them with actual raiders. I raged, I ranted, I took no prisoners. I kicked anyone who stood in my way. Raid, guild, it didn't matter. Being a Care Bear, Buckley had no control anymore. And I would be unnecessarily mean to anyone who screwed up, to intentionally try and invoke some sort of reaction. But I got nothing from Buckley. He remained calm. He remained silent. He just let me have my way. Oh, God. What's their progress now after all this? I haven't heard Care Bear in so long. What's their progress now? Eventually, we got the curator kill. It took weeks and many replacements. Shade of arrow in my ass. We're not even there. We eventually got the curator kill. We did it, team! Down he goes! 2 weeks later, Malcazar also fell. After a few weeks of trying, Gruul fell. Magtheridon fell. And I started to walk around Shattrath with my shiny new tier 4 armor and my Aldori Legacy Defender, the Gruul shield. I thought I was the fucking balls. I was the best tank in our guild, but in my head, I was the best tank on the fucking server. I stepped back and admired my work. I had taken a floppy limp dick scrub guild and turned it into a focused raiding guild in 3 months. But I wouldn't stop there. SSC was the challenge. As Black Temple had only just opened, Illidan's Stormrage had still not been killed by anyone on the server, nor I believe had Kael'thas. I started to recruit more geared raiders and began pushing our guild through SSC, doing 3 nights of progress raiding every week. By this time I had completely phased out rotation and was running the same 25-man core every single goddamn night. If one of the 2 of them didn't show, then we went without them. I didn't fill my raid spots with scrubs. We'll go with 22. I had more or less completely taken over the raiding aspect of our server. And Buckley was just riding the gravy train. He was an average mage. He knew that his spot in my raids was only intact because he had the GM title. He didn't dare speak out. My raiders were loyal to me, and he knew he had no say over what I did. I knew I was being a tyrant and a bit of a dick, but I loved having the power. I had gone from being a nameless off-tank in an MC raiding guild to the most important and domineering member of this guild. Even my friend was impressed, because his guild had still not killed Lady Vash. They were having inner guild drama of their own. He even tried to recruit me as an off-tank. But now I was in a position to say no. I told him to go and fuck himself. That I wouldn't be seen dead as an off-tank like some peasant. I thought I was the god of tanks. Nobody could touch me. Chapter 3 then. Someone touches me. Midway through our SSC progression, Crown Royal, the old, original GM, came back from his AFK. 6 months he'd been gone. He had capped his character a few weeks after the Burning Crusade, and then left the game, passing all leadership responsibilities to Buckley. When he returned, he once again regained his GM title. And then he asked that question. Buckley, bring me up to speed on what's going on. I stepped in and facepalm Buckley. Move, mate. Let me fucking deal with this. I showed him his guild. A team of elite raiders that had emerged from nothing. I expected to be congratulated for my efforts. Give me a beach. Rewarded, maybe. It didn't go down that way. Crown Royal was not pleased at what become of his envisioned utopic social guild. None of the old members were still there, really. They had been bullied out of the guild, or even the game, by me. He wanted to come along to one of the raids. I informed him that his gear's insufficient, bro, and our roster's full, guild master. I threw him a bone, though. I said if we're ever short a spot, you could come along, but not if everyone's online, GM. This indeed happened a few weeks later, with one member dropping out at the last minute of a fresh SSC raid. Crown Royal stepped in. Crown Royal was a holy paladin. And fuck me, he was really good. He was in blues and a few crafted epics and some gear he got from a Karazhan alt run. But he fucking rocked that shit and held his own against healers in tier 5. Called people out numerous times. It was weird. Someone else speaking up on TeamSpeak. Anytime someone made a mistake, he noticed. He saw things that other people just never saw. He picked on them. And he told me off for letting a loose ad kill 4 people on the way to Hydros. Tank the mob. No one had ever told me that. No one had ever commented on my tanking. I had fucked up sometimes, but no one had ever seemed to notice. Oh, they noticed. Oh, they noticed. To be fair, it should never have happened, but for the first time in a while, someone had picked me up on an error. It made me feel shitty for the entire raid. And I logged off that night without having the post-raid banter. This was changing everything. One of our permanent raiders left the game. I think the GM probably killed him. And Crown Royal became a permanent replacement. We continued in SSC. Crown Royal became more and more vocal. It became clear why this guy was originally GM. Every chance he got to try and undermine me, he took it. The raid started to destabilize. Arguing with our tactics and saying my tactics were dog shit. And he had done some research. Crown Royal was a jobless scrub. And spent all day researching SSC bosses. Bastard! He has the unemployed advantage! He has the unemployed advantage! He was a serial alt player. And in vanilla had even reached level 60 of every class in the game. He knew all the cooldowns of all the classes. And now I'm looking back on it, was probably far better suited to being a raid leader than I was. I was breaking. I told him that he should probably lead one night. Just to give me a break. You pussy! What a pussy! Man tank, God mode. No. But Crown Royal had other plans. Suddenly, the recruitment just went fucking insane. He started mass recruiting random scrubs of all levels. There were level 30s, 40s, 20s, all joining the guild. Filling the guild with dozens of new people every day. He started fucking about with raid plans, changing the dates of raid nights, making us do things we didn't need to do in the interest of these new players. We even dedicated a raid night to running people through things like Moradon. He set up his own SSC raid one night, on the off night, when I wasn't online. He got half my raid team locked out on Hydros intentionally, saying that they needed him. He knew damn well that I needed Hydros. He went to huge lengths to wreck the raiding environment and go back to the old casual ways. We had a cesspool guild, a good, wholesome cesspool guild, and we will go back to it. This raiding will stop. He would buy out hundreds of raid consumables on the auction house and then put them back up for ridiculous prices just before our guild's raids. Wow. Wow, that's fucking ballsy. Ballsy as fuck. You know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to buy everything you guys want and then charge you more for it. One night, I was leading a raid in SSC. He kept openly insulting me on TeamSpeak, and then he started whispering me, telling me that I was a shit tank. I didn't understand it. I don't know what's going on. I had enough of this bullshit. At this point, I freaked out. He's in my head. I'd screamed at him to just shut up. Shut up. And go fuck himself. That was all he needed. He kicked me from the guild. He banned me from TeamSpeak. He closed down my forum access. I tried to PM Crown Royal. I was on ignore. I was back on my own again. I spent the next few days trying to get people who I thought were my loyal raiders to leave the guild. But Crown Royal had already recruited a new tank in my place. An old friend of his. Oh, so outplayed. And SSC progression never even hit a bump. They just carried on. It was quite clear to me that nobody actually liked me at all. Fuck. I don't even know what happened or why, but to this day, it still pisses me off. I grovelled. To Kamoxin. Ask him if he's... Does your guild still need an off tank? Got any Sundays? You got any Sundays? I'll Sunday, bro. To my surprise, he said his guild was dead anyway. He had joined another guild that was raiding Black Temple, and no, they didn't need a shitty SSC geared tank. I logged off that night feeling lonely and depressed. It was the lowest point of my WoW career. My tank was fucked. A few weeks later, though, I joined up with another raiding guild to fill the spot of a tank who had left the game. I raided out the rest of the Burning Crusade with a better attitude, good man, and had much more fun. We managed to kill Illidan before the Lich King, but never made it as far as Sunwell. I quit WoW shortly after this due to university, but I returned towards the end of Mr. Pandaria to play a druid tank. I still have my warrior tucked away somewhere in full tier 6 gear with high hopes of one day being able to swing a two-handed raids. Somehow, I doubt that will ever happen. Oh, that was horrible. That was a horrible story. Oh my god, I feel so sad. Alright, let's go. What have we got? 6 minutes? I can do this. 6 minutes? I can do this. We got this, bros. Welcome, Shaudio. Welcome, my friend. Okay. Right. An officer. He was... Oh, what was the name? McCaskill. Yeah. Oh, I can't spell officer. Yay me. University educated. Not bad, eh? McCaskill. We need a GM. As always, will be Zim. And 4 cronies. Cronies. Lorenzo. I didn't type in, did it? Lorenzo. Lorenzo Mullen. Oh, can I fit them all in? Come on, you can do it. 4. And Goodrich. We never fit that in, did we? Oh, it's so full. We got this. Yeah, this could end badly, right? Nice to meet you. Our final story then before I take my vacation. Hopefully that gets everybody in. Yes, excellent. Okay, nice to meet you. We're going to whiz through this. 4 minutes. I remember when I first got WoW in late Wrath of the Lich King. A friend and I went down to a shop on the weekend. Being 14 and still pubeless, we were pretty skint. We wanted to find a giant time sink for the summer holidays. School had ended and we had no homework or assignments. We headed into a shop, which I will not mention for legal reasons. It was filled with badly behaved kids. Very naughty. My friend was so pissed, he told me to choose something and let's get the fuck out of this hellhole. Seeing the anger in his face, I ran for what I thought was a gaming section. There were a selection of games, but one jumped out at me. World of Warcraft. As I mentioned, we were pretty broke, but luckily it was £8 for the battle chest that was vanilla through Wrath, and it came with a month free. This seemed perfect. Silently, my friend crouched by my side, and he laughed at me. He asked me why I chose this. I shrugged my shoulders, got up, saw his choice, which was a book on the 1911 pistol. Okay. I don't know what that is. So ultimately, it was annoying kids and being rushed that made me play WoW. Fine. There you go. I rolled a dwarf paladin for no other reason than I am small IRL. I would play a human, but they're too tall, so I can't. I'll have to be a dwarf. I'm small IRL. You could have been a gnome though, mate. You should have been a fucking gnome, you girl. I embraced my smallness. Fight me, mate. And as soon as I was invited to a guild, I made it to cap just before Kata hit and socialised just to waste time. Everyone seemed cool enough to me, but one group stood out. An officer called McCaskill. And his cronies groupies, who later I found out were part of my school. Once I got to 85, I was invited to a raid. Like most people, I was nervous as hell. My guildies were supportive though and helped me along the way. And finally, I actually became a regular raider for my guild. Then one fateful day, while running the Firelands, Flame Talon dropped. Is that the mount? Flame Talon's the mount, right? We all rolled for it, but somehow Alice Razor heard my plea and I won it. McCaskill lost his fucking shit. I was a teen. I was reckless. I was full of spunk. And I gave zero shits. Because he was the one who's the most vocal about me getting it, I rode around him in the raid. On the mount. Spinning in circles. I followed him all the way to the bank after the raid. So smug, I logged off and let the other members deal with his rage. The next day at school, I was happy. I know. I tanked my way through the day to get home until I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned around and heard a familiar voice. Hello, one of the officer cronies, Lorenzo, said to me. He held a scalpel from the sign slabs and actually put it against my face. Me being a massive coward, what the fuck? Me being a massive coward pretended it really hurt and played dead on the floor, thinking they would leave me. Instead, they stood there making knife puns. Knife to meet you IRL, they said. I got up and decided my only way out was to fight, though. I got ready and picked up an overturned bottle, good school, and began to move towards them. My hands were shaking with fear. And then, a shopkeeper who heard the commotion came out and yelled at the kids and threatened to call the police until they left. I went home and spoke to my sister and brother, asking them to help me. My sister, being a boss, cleaned up the little mark on my face and put makeup on it. I didn't want my parents to know, or they'd take my PC off me. Fake or not, let's keep going. And my brother literally wrote a script to read to my head teacher. But I had one last task. This guild was dead to me. My 14 to 15-year-old mind told me to rob the guild bank. I ran to my room, turned on my PC and got to the guild bank. I was filling my inventory when I got a Skype call from my GM, McCaskill. Sister Carrie. He asked me what in the world I was doing and started yelling. I'm not going to lie, I'm thinking that conversation gives me goosebumps to this day. I told him everything, and he became Sherlock Holmes of our guild. Eventually, the guys who did this to me admitted it, and they were handed over to a Blizz GM, and eventually it did go to the police. McCaskill had my back, and the kids who attacked me got expelled from school. Although I'm no longer in that guild, I still speak with my guild leader. Oh, the GM was Zim, sorry. GM was Zim. Although I'm no longer in this guild, I still speak with my guild leader and still considered one of my best friends. But this is the story of how someone held a knife to my face for winning a mount in World of Warcraft. The end. And take that one to the bank. Take that one to the bank. Who knows? What did you walk into? Just a knife attack story. Yeah, I hate when guildies pull knives on me. I could have done it to Ghosty when he took my Zandalari Berserker trinket. Yeah? You can't even pull a knife into people, you know what I mean? I knew he was going to bottle him. Boom. And I'm going on vacation now, so I'll leave you to deal with that. The salt. That is so salty. It's one of the saltiest stories I've ever read. Yeah, we made it. Oh, 2 minutes over. I tried. Genuinely cool story. Yes, there should be a video every single day while I'm away. Don't worry about it. I've been working my bollocks off this week. It's been pretty horrendous. But yeah, there should be a video every single day. Hopefully, I have to redo some of the videos tonight because they launched a new alpha build last night, which has changed some of the classes. So, I'll have to see. I'm going to do my best to get everything finished for tonight. I was supposed to start my vacation like right now, but I'll have to work tonight to make up for the Blizzard changes. Stop changing it, Blizz. Stop changing it, but you should be pretty good. All right, guys. So if it doesn't come out at 5 p.m. my time, there isn't a thing. I could post a schedule though. I could do that. We'll see how late I have to go tonight. We'll see how late it is. So if you want to tweet me, I'll be working all night finishing everything up. So please feel free to tweet me. Other than that, have a great time. Do something cool while I'm away. I'd love to see that. I'll tweet some pictures as long as there's no, like, you know, camel toe, my wife and stuff. Won't do that. But I'll tweet some pictures and stuff. It should be okay. Hopefully it's not going to rain or anything. So there you go. Be good. See you, everybody. Thank you. I'll see you in 2 weeks. So, yeah, no drama time for 2 weeks. All right, guys. Bye-bye.